Right, this is Battery Box Mark 2, and if you look back in the videos, you'll see, you can see in there, this is pretty much ready to go. She's been sat there for God knows how many months now. Oh, I'm just looking for my battery tester, and the first thing I'm going to do is give the battery a quick test. I disconnected the solar panel charge controller because I swear it was eating up voltage slowly but surely. So I remember I tested the battery without it over a few days and it was fine. So look, we've got 11.87 volts in this battery. So this is a classic lithium ion. So that battery fully charged should be... So just had to quickly refer to some notes because this always flummoxes me. Lithium ion is different to the lithium polymer ferrous phosphate, I think they're called, the newer lithium ion batteries. They operate at different cell voltages. So the cells in this battery are 3.7 volts each, and you have 3 of them, which makes the nominal voltage, kind of the average voltage of the battery, 11.1 volts. Now, when it's fully charged, each cell needs to be 4.2 volts, so that would be 12.6 volts. Now, you do get a little bit of fluctuation with all batteries. Depends on their age, depends on how good they are. You know, some are Monday morning batteries, some are Friday afternoon batteries, you know. So some people say up to 12.7, but 12.7, 12.6 is fully charged. It is more of an art than a science, you know. And fully discharged, as far as the general user is concerned, would be at 3.4 volts. So somewhere in the middle there, 3.4 volts is 10.2, isn't it? Multiplied by 3, because there's 3 cells in this battery. Now, if we're showing, look, we're showing 11.9 actually. So 11.9 volts is somewhere, well, let's have a think, 11.9, 12.6 down to, so it's over half full. So it's held its capacity fairly well. I do think this battery is at the end of its life, though, or nearing it. It is old. I've had that battery in its camping, you know, in that little battery terminal casing for years, like 10, even more, 20 years. So, you know, it's done well. It still works, but maybe it's starting to degrade a little bit. But first little test there is the battery's kind of good. It's working. It's okay. I want to have this hanging from the top of the boat because it's so light now. The negatives of having it hanging from the top of the boat are that you've got a bit of weight higher up in the boat, which isn't ideal. You know, ideally you want this on the bottom of the boat, but the positives of having it at the top of the boat is if the boat fills up with water, it's got a much better chance of, you know, surviving. And I'm thinking, you know, if you want to power a bilge pump, things like that, you know you've got a problem when you've got this much water in the boat, not this much water. So if this is on the floor, you know, it's not so good. Now, when you think about it, that is so light. I think we weighed it and it was like 6 point something kilo. And you can see in there, I could actually have it so much smaller if I really wanted to. So my idea is this: to attach it to the top of the boat and close it up all in one go would be to do something like this. First of all, we would have a plank of wood that it's not quite big enough. So a big piece of wood that would be the same size as this. And the reason we'd have that is to stick this or epoxy it onto the underside of the boat. So if we can do that, then we can start to put some kind of wood arrangement on the bottom. Now, the idea was we could have something that would mimic this. I'm going to try and sort of show you what I mean. So yeah, so see that profile. So all we need is a profile like that, and then we can slide. Obviously that's got to be a bit bigger. I got enough here to sort of do this, but let's just make sure that's got to be a bit higher, otherwise it won't fit through that. There you go, and we slide it in like that. So when we need the battery, we can slide it out. When we don't, we slide it in. And if we make this a little bit bigger, it will hit the back of the boat and stay secure there. And then all we need to do is have a little something that will close this and lock it in. We'll see how the sticking goes. When I glued that fiberglass board for the bilge pump, it was like part of the boat once it's stuck. So I'm pretty sure this will work. So today we're going to do that. We're going to go into my little workshop and we're going to start chopping up some wood and getting this to fit. So we can then go to the boat, hopefully next week when it's warm, and stick it in, and that will be the battery box done, which is a big thing for me. We're in the new workshop. Oh, well, reconfigured workshop. What I am never short of is bits of wood. And I've got loads of wood. I've got in my garage at home. I've got big long pieces, but here's where I keep all this sort of stuff. And I've actually got out at home, I've got outdoor wood as well. These are my little tidbits and smaller pieces that I use. A lot of it's, plywood, because that's what you use in boating. Down here are all the big bits. So we've definitely got some wood to do this. It's just now a case of finding some. So first thing I need to do is get a top piece, which is going to be big enough. And I think it needs to be, it just needs to be the same size of the box, plus just enough to protrude and to sort of create a little locking, something that will go across it, maybe a hinge or something like that. So that we could connect this way, and then we mark out and we cut a channel in here, and then just cut those to size. Now, that's one side done, but we have a problem because this side, excuse me, we've got these kind of lips which are really annoying. So the options are to cut those lips out and just fiberglass the inside to make it good like the other side, which I'm thinking is probably going to be the way we go, or we're going to have to work out a way of cutting out a channel that will be a bit bigger, but it will rest on these two pieces instead. So these would be free essentially, but the channel would be large enough to rest on those. Now, the way we're going to do the channel in here, we could use a router, but it's a bit of a hassle. I'm not very good with routers. The other way we can do it is with the table saw and just set the table saw height to 2 centimeters and then just run it through here as many times as we need to, and it will just gradually chip away at it all. We'll just increase or decrease the gate distance by the blade width and do about 5 cuts. We should be there. Ooh, ooh. So, I shouldn't really do this on the table, should I? But there we go. Look, watch. So that slides on nicely. Look at that. And clamps it shut. And that was, if you didn't get it from my description, which you probably didn't, that's what I'm after. I just cleaned the whole of this workshop, made it lovely and tidy, and this thing makes a massive mess. Just look at it. The guard does have a hoover, but it doesn't really work very well. But I've turned it around this way to try and minimise it and keep it all over there. But there we go, we've got our two pieces. And these will, the idea is these will be, I think they go that way actually, don't they? Yeah. These will go like that. Or this one will go like that. And the other one, let's just do that. Now what I think I might do is do a little V cut in here maybe, just so it, one side, just so it makes it easier to present it. We also might need to, do an extra little millimetre off just to make it slide a bit nicer. But this one, you see, obviously can't now slide over there easily. Excuse me. So the answer to that is we could have it, just make this cut a lot deeper. So the top would go and then you would slide it onto both of these bits. That would be the easy way.